Welcome to Just the Facts. We're diving into a question that sits at the very heart of our democracy. Are politicians who routinely tell untruths causing a dangerous erosion of public trust?
Right.
Or have we, the voters, simply tuned them out and accepted dishonesty as the cost of doing business?
It's a critical question, Alex, because the numbers, they're telling a pretty grim story.
Yeah.
According to a May 2024 poll from the Pew Research Center, only 22% of Americans trust the federal government to do the right thing most of the time.
Wow.
Think about that. I mean, less than a quarter of the country has faith in our system.
And that number is the culmination of a long, slow decline.
Yeah.
Back in 1958, when they started asking this question, trust was at 73%.
73?
Events like the Vietnam War and Watergate, started the slide.
Okay.
But for the last 15 years, we've been stuck in this valley of historic distrust.
And it's not just a general feeling.
Right.
A 2024 survey from the Partnership for Public Service found that 2/3 of Americans believe the federal government is incompetent.
2/3.
This isn't just some abstract anger.
No.
It's a deep-seated belief that the system is broken. And a key reason for that is this perception that our leaders are just not being straight with us.
And let's be clear, this is a bipartisan issue.
Oh, absolutely.
Fact-checking organizations are working overtime on statements from officials in both parties.
Yeah.
So let's ground this in reality with some proven examples. Ben, let's start with the current administration.
Absolutely. So President Joe Biden has made several statements that have been proven false.
Okay.
For instance, during a speech in Pennsylvania, he stated, I never did make $400,000 a year. But as CNN and others have reported, his own publicly available tax returns, they show he and the First Lady earned over $600,000 last year and made millions from a book deal back in 2017 and 2018.
Right.
It's a simple, factual inaccuracy.
So it's not an interpretation.
No.
It's just black and white. What about more complex claims?
A great example is his recurring claim to have cut the federal deficit by over $1 trillion.
Right.
On the surface, the number is correct. The deficit did fall.
Okay.
However, fact checkers point out the primary reason was the planned expiration of massive bipartisan COVID-19 emergency relief funds. When you stop emergency spending, the deficit naturally falls.
Makes sense.
His own policies on balance have actually added to the deficit.
Wow.
So it's a claim that's misleading because it omits that crucial context.
So it's a truth used to tell an untruth.
Exactly.
Now, to maintain balance, let's look at the other side.
Right.
The previous president, Donald Trump, he has a long history of documented falsehoods.
A very long history.
Yeah.
A striking example from the 2024 campaign trail was his claim that the Biden administration stole FEMA disaster relief money to spend on migrants at the border.
Okay.
The Washington Post fact checker rated this 4 Pinocchios because not only was the accusation false, but his own administration had actually diverted disaster aid from FEMA to fund programs at the border.
The hypocrisy there is stunning.
It is.
And this isn't limited to just presidential candidates, right?
Not at all. It's become a tactic across the board.
Okay.
In the official Republican response to the State of the Union, Senator Katie Britt told an emotional story about a victim of sex trafficking.
I remember this.
And heavily implied it was a direct result of President Biden's border policies.
A story that fact-checkers later debunked.
Completely. The woman's ordeal occurred in Mexico years earlier during the George W. Bush administration.
Wow.
The story had no connection to the policy she was criticizing.
Right.
It was a powerful narrative built on a false premise.
So here we are. We have documented, fact-checked untruths. From outright falsehoods to these misleading narratives coming from the very top of both parties.
Yes.
This brings us back to our central question. What is the effect on the American voter?
That's the real dilemma.
Yeah.
The polling data clearly shows trust is collapsing.
Right.
But how does that translate to action? Some voters might become hyper-vigilant, digging for the truth. But many others may simply disengage, concluding that they all lie and that politics is a cynical game not worth their time or energy.
And there's a really worrying trend inside that data that supports that idea, that disengagement from institutions.
Right.
Pew found that your level of trust in government, is now heavily predicted by whether your party is in the White House. When Trump was president, Republican trust was much higher than Democratic trust. Now, under Biden, it is completely flipped.
It suggests that trust is becoming just another word for partisan loyalty.
Yeah.
We're no longer trusting the institution of government, but simply rooting for our team.
Wow.
When facts themselves are seen through a partisan lens, it becomes nearly impossible to have the shared reality we need to solve our country's biggest challenges.
Right.
We're left just talking past each other while the foundations of trust continue to crack.
It leaves the voter in an incredibly difficult position, caught between trying to find the truth and the exhaustion of feeling like it may not even matter. Now, here's a question we'd like you to think about.
Yeah.
As we move forward, the issue isn't just whether politicians will be truthful, but what we as citizens decide to value. Does the verified truth still have the power to change minds and votes? Or have we entered an era where appealing to a political tribe is more effective than sticking to the facts?